Folks that I talked to had never seen something like this ever, in many years of practice.
To get to a story like this, it's not one part of the team, it's the entire interdisciplinary team that makes this possible.
Let's go to Highland. It was the absolute best decision we could have made. And in retrospect, it's the only decision I would ever make.
It was Ozzie and Harriet. It was the way it's supposed to be.
They both went to Ben Franklin High School.
It was love at first sight, childhood sweethearts.
They dated from when they were 16.
They just knew they were meant to be together.
They learned together. They grew up together.
They just had this connection at an early age. It was sweet. As soon as my mom was in emergency, I ran upstairs to see my dad, and he didn't have a roommate. And so I quick said, "Oh my God, I got to get my mom in this room."
So she came right up to our front desk, and she's like, "Excuse me, I see that there's a room empty next to my father who's here on your floor, and could you reserve that for my mom?" We did save the room for her, and we were able to have them share a room, which is not necessarily typical to most hospitals, but funny, Highland does that.
If you're really going to do person-centered care, the care has to adapt and fit the person, not the other way around.
They've been together 71 years, and they feed off of each other. And one will be stronger where the other one is weaker and help to lift that person up.
Upon hearing that news and learning how sick his wife was, he seemed to get worse after that.
Because of the closeness of the couple and their marriage and their love for each other, along with some of the health problems, it just kind of pushed him right into this traumatic experience.
Severe emotions can sometimes cause heart function to decline. He was basically having a heart attack. Their mother and father were basically inseparable in life, and that they shouldn't be kept apart at this very important time.
I remember getting the report from the charge nurse telling me what the situation was and what I was going to have ahead of me.
We were bringing an ICU patient with ICU needs up to a medical ward where they don't have the same supplies.
So it was like this massive team, communication with our doctors, the ICU people, and everyone kind of preparing for this situation that was going to be kind of intensive.
Palliative care doctors in hospice are not about easing your death or hastening your death. They're really about helping you to live every moment until you can't. And all of us will go at some time. And shouldn't it be with the most amount of comfort, the most amount of dignity, the most amount of peace, in being as much who we can be up until the end?
If you can recognize what the right thing to do is, there really aren't any perceived barrier that you may come across. It can be overcome.
Highland has done amazing things that I've seen, but having the ability to bring up all that stuff, and then the IV pole with all these multiple lines going, and the work that I had to go into to even transport him, to keep him okay enough just to get to the floor so that he could do that, to be with his wife in his dying moments.
This was one of the most incredible parts. He was able to lie next to his wife holding her hand, and they talked about their lives together. They were able to spend several minutes talking about their lives, talking about their first date, talking about their children, talking about basically their entire life together, and that was very incredible.
He knew she was afraid to die, and so he went first for her.
And certainly to see that when he finally passed away, they were still holding hands. That was a very, very touching moment.
After he died, she said, "Is my honey waiting for me?" And my sister said yes. And it was very quick.
Because of the generosity of people in the past, we've been fortunate to have the resources to provide for the sort of magic that happened for the Franco family. And hopefully with continued support from our community, we'll always be able to do that.
It was loving. Okay, it was a loving and kind gesture to make people that were in not great shape feel better.
I think the Franco family and their experience tells you that not only can Highland give you that high-tech care when you need it, but at the same time they recognize you as an individual and as a person with unique needs.
It was just an absolute wonderful ending to a wonderful life.